the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 18, in the NLT. It says, so commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these words of mine, tie them to your hands, and wear them on your foreheads as reminders. Okay, first and foremost, I'd like to give infinite honors and prayers to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kahakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the icons that's pushing the truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this video be edifying first and foremost to the whole elect, then to those that cleave to the body. This lesson will be about the blood over the doorpost serves as the sign of protection. Okay, so I started out, basically showing how the words, all right, is a reminder to wear upon our foreheads, or you can liken that into keeping your eyes single, all right, and fulfilling your office. Okay, so it's actually in the regular and where in the KJV it says, therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be frontlets between your eyes. All right. And we understand that, keeping your eyes single. Let me get that. I'll come right back to that Deuteronomy 11 because I want to read further down. All right. 11 and 18. I want to go through 20. All right. And keeping your eyes single, all right, represents that you have the blood over the doorpost, which in the ancient time of this going into, the time in Egypt, all right, when the Lord would pass over us, I'll also get that, okay? But it says the light, Matthew 6 and 22, of the body is the eye. All right, let me pull it up so I can read it. It says the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. All right. So when you get the word eye here, all right, I think it's eye. Yeah, it says the eyes of the mind, the faculty of knowing. You see? So that's what you keep between the frontlets of your eyes, as it says in Deuteronomy. You see, the faculty of knowing, and what we know is what's going to keep us. All right. It tell you in Proverbs 7 and 3. Okay. On what to actually do. All right. It says, 7 and 2, it says, keep my commandments and live in my law as the apple of thine eye. See? So you got to guard the instructions with your eyes, which is your mind. It says, bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. So write them deep within your heart and tie them to your fingers as a reminder, which that's what I started out with. All right. And that ultimately the thing you do is, I'm going to read verse 4. It says, say unto wisdom, down on my sister, and call understanding thine kinswoman. So it says, love wisdom like a sister, make insight a beloved member of your family. You see that it can be act as a it can act as a method for protection. Yes. All right. By following the Lord's advice and keeping what thus says the Lord. Okay. Now, I know I'm going to go to that Deuteronomy 11. I'm going to get back to that 18. All right. Because that's what it started out with. Okay. And remember, this lesson will be about, obviously, how to understand the full blood over the doorpost, all right, what it serves as, okay, and how you can understand it, thoroughly through the scriptures and what it actually is, okay, so as you're wearing the things that all right, on your foreheads as reminders, it's likened to a sign or a token, which it tells you that in Exodus 12. And I'm going to get back to that Deuteronomy 11 and 18 and go through 20. All right. 12 and 13. It says, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. All right. And that token goes into, obviously, that's a mark. Let's get it here. All right. It's H226 alt.
Strong's H226. Oath.
Yep.
Oath.
Oath. It says a sign, a signal, a distinguishing mark, a banner. Right? The Lord said, I have delivered the banner unto them because of the truth. All right? I tell you that in the book of Psalms. A remembrance. Okay, so to have this blood over your doorpost or over your mind, I have this word fully into your spirit and heart. The Lord will set a remembrance. Okay, when he do make judgment. All right, that he'll let the judgment pass over you. Which is important. It says a miraculous sign, because this same token or this sign of those men who has the mark, all right, they're going to be miraculously beamed up. They're going to scarcely make it. All right, but it also says that they're not going to understand that the righteous man is taken away from the times to come. All right, because it's going to be miraculous the way he's going to be taken up. All right. And it also goes, I know it's in Sirach. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's Sirach 5. They're going to be at the strangeness of our salvation. Nah, I paraphrase it, but it says, is it Sirach 5? Oh, okay. The strangeness. Bear with me. Yeah. Wisdom of Solomon 5. And 2, it says, when they said they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they look for. You see, so that's that miraculous sign, all right, or that distinguishing mark that's going to be put up on the elect of those that sigh and cry, right? That the why, okay? And it's going to be a proof or a miracle, man, okay? Standard going to be lifted up for those men. So it says, back in Exodus 12 and 13, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And those houses during that time represents really those temples of the elect, man. All right, when you looking at it deep, now it's it's speaking about a house that the blood was put over the doorpost to keep the judgment from coming in. All right, so now these houses are very fragile. All right, anything can break them down, a small wind, rain, anything. So now that goes into what? Your house. All right, that tabernacle that your spirit lives within. Okay? So that's going to be upon those men. It's going to be the actual, right, mark within the bodies of those men. All right, which those bodies are going to get changed. It's not about the bodies, but houses are like into a abode. It's where something is kept at. But that's where the spirit of those men who have chosen, okay, are. Because what if you're not in the house? Like this ancient time, this is how you know the blood over the doorpost will be just talking about the spirit, having the word or the spirit of the Lord within these men with those signs of that the why. Because what if you don't be in the house during the time of judgment? Right? During the time of Passover, men that was in the houses or they got within, now when that is going to be in the earth, there's no telling where a man will be. Okay, so how then can you, if you're looking at it that it's just the blood on the house, what if the house get taken away? But though yet the man and his family still get preserved. It says, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you. You see? So in this ancient modern day, when the Lord do begin to judge and kill, the firstborns and the people, all right, who was of evilness and stayed down and perverseness, how then will the Lord pass over you? You'll have to have this this word, all right, as a staple upon your mind. All right. That's why it says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. You know, a lot of times brothers just say that part, but they got more to the lesson. I mean, more to that verse. It says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and strength of salvation. All right. It's the strength of your salvation also. Okay. So when you got this word of full understanding and you got the mercy of the Lord, then the Lord gonna pass over you. You see? When he see that. Not when he see blood over the doorpost, because we ain't gonna, judgment is coming down, the Lord judgment coming every morning is light. Judgment is coming so fast, and we're not even around. Some brothers ain't even around animals. So how will we then put the blood over our doorpost? It says, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I shall smite the land of Egypt. Now, Babylon, aka America, all right, is Sodom in Egypt. All right, it's really all of those put together is bondage. All right, it's sodomy to the highest. All right, it's also, it's all these kingdoms serving as one. All right, now let's read it in the NLT. It says, but put the blood on your doorposts will serve as a sign, marking the houses where you are staying. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. This plague of death will not touch you when I strike the land of Egypt. All right. And Babylon is the modern day Egypt, man. All right. Because it serves some of the same, it upholds some of the same philosophies. All right. Of the Egyptians, they have many images and gods. Okay. So this is likened unto the same place. Now, let me get back to that Deuteronomy 11, and I'm gonna read 18, which I started out with, and then go on. All right, it says, I'm gonna read in NLT. So commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these words of mine. Tie them to your hands and wear them on your foreheads as reminder. Okay, the Lord have lifted up a banner to the elect because of the truth. Okay, so you carry something as at the forefront, at the frontlets of your eyes or forehead as reminder is a banner of truth, which is these scriptures. It says, teach them to your children. Talk about them when you are at home and when you are on the road, when you are going to bed and when you're getting up. So they have to follow you. All right. Throughout your daily walk. All right. When you travel, when you're gone. All right. When you're at home, when you're in your sanctuary. All right. When you go in your private areas, places, in the closet, through your prayers, it gotta all be talked about. Okay. Expressed, thought upon. Okay. And carried out through actions. It says, going to sleep, waking up. It says, write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. All right. Okay. You see? And what gates represents? That which keeps something enclosed in. All right. And it's also the entrance, right? Because the entrance can represent your mind. Your mind is a door. All right. When you go in the gate, it says a gate of an entrance of space inside the gate. The marketplace, the public meeting, that's where the elders and apostles is at. So that's how it's talking about the word. The city of the town, the court of the tabernacle. Okay? So it's the door, the gate, the city, doors, gate, and the elders are the gates. All right? That has the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? So this is this is the blood over the doorposts, what it represents. Okay? This is Psalms 24:9. It says, lift up your heads, O ye gates, even lift them up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. You see? So when you again, when you put the blood over your doorpost, all right, or open your mind to where the Lord knocked in the book of John. I'll just paraphrase that because we should be familiar with that. All right, 10:1 as the Lord knocked, or inside of he's the door. All right, and again, he's knocking at the door or your mind or your heart to come in. Okay, so if you lift up your head, or ye gates, even lift them up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. So if we have this blood of protection over our doorpost, which is in our minds, then we'll be protected. You see? Matter of fact, let's get that. This is Proverbs 8, since I mentioned it. All right. And 34. Start at 33. It says, hear instructions and be wise and refuse it not. Don't ignore it. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. And when you go on this Proverbs 8, it was talking about Yahushua. All right. How he was with the Heavenly Father before everything was created. So he also announce or pronounce himself as wisdom. Okay, and that's how you know it's talking about the words or the knowledge of the wisdom. It says, joyful are those who listen to me, watching for me daily at my gates, waiting for me outside my home. Okay. It says, for whosoever findeth me, findeth life and shall obtain favor of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So the only way to avoid judgment is to find Yahweh Shai. He have to find you, have to enter into your heart, man. All right. And that's how we get the favor of the saving of the Lord, man. So this is important. All right. This is our Wisdom of Solomon. Let's see. Yeah. 6 and I start at 13. It says, she prevented them that desired her and making herself first known unto them. So Yahweh Shai gotta come unto you for you to enter and to have this word within you. And he can't enter into a malicious soul. It says, whoso seeketh her early, all right, who are waiting at the post of our doors and at the gates waiting, all right, early shall have no great travail. See? So if we do what we need to do and get this word knowledge and this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding established within our heart, we're not gonna have great travail because Yahweh Shai gonna be our protector. For he shall find her sitting at his doors. You see? You see that? Or she shall be found early or sitting at her doors, man. At our doors. Which is, chiefly our mind. All right, because a house can't protect you. Only this word gonna be able to preserve you in a day of wrath, man. See? Let me see. Yeah, it's like the account with it's with Lot. All right, when the Sodomites was at the door, and it speak about, I think, in Wisdom of Solomon 19 and 14, what kept that from polluting Lot, all right, was ultimately he was a righteous man of the Lord, man. He despised wickedness and he preserved the law, statutes, and commandments, man. You know what? Let me read this account. This Wisdom of Solomon 19. Thank you. Speak about it. All right. Okay, kind of get to the point. Bear with me here. Okay. I think it's like 14. Hmm. Yeah, verse 17. It says, therefore, even with blindness were these stricken, as though as those were at the doors of the righteous man. And who was at the doors of a righteous man? Chiefly it was the Sodomites. All right. It tell you in verse 14, for the Sodomites did not receive those whom they knew not when they came, but these brought friends into bondage that had well deserved of them. All right. Let me jump down to 17 because I want to get to the point. I ain't want to read it, be long. When being compassed about with horrible great darkness, everyone sought the passages of his own doors, meaning the passage of his own doors is the being your mind, going about to seeking different images or the things that you're locked into. All right. So if we're locked into Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, then no, it should be no trouble come upon us, man. All right. Okay. Is there any more here? Yeah, that was it. All right. Yeah, that was it there. Okay, let me get this. Yeah, and I get out of here. This is a Rock 14. Just go into a little bit more about, establishing yourself with the blood over your doorpost. And Salaki for that last point. I should have kind of had that in order. Salaki for that. This is Sirach 14. And I'm gonna start at 21. I'll start at 20. It says, blessed is the man that doeth meditate good things in wisdom, and that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding. Now, when we reason of the things that create life, all right, is by staying within the law, statutes, and commandments, man, because that is life. All right. So to meditate in it, okay, and to worship it, and to work and worship he that gave us the meditation, all right, will bring you good. Right? It says, he that considereth her ways in his heart shall also have understanding in her secrets, the things that keep you alive. Because obviously it's a secret to stay alive. And that secret is to know Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and be within the laws, statutes, and commandments, man. All right. It says, go after her, this all talking about wisdom, as one that trace it and lie and wait in her ways. And when you trace something, you stay directly there on it. All right. You don't err, you don't curve off, you don't try something new. All right. You follow directly behind a path that was set before you. All right, and trace it. It says, he that prior in at her windows shall also hearken at her door. So he that labor within her shall reap and sow of her rewards, man. All right. If you pride in at her windows and look upon wisdom, then you're gonna hearken at her doors. You're gonna listen to it when it come within your mind and your soul. It says, he that doeth lodge near her house shall also fasten a pin in her walls. All right. Be a stone within the spiritual temple. Okay. You're going to be one that build with her. Okay. And you're going to be built on a what? A sure foundation. It says he shall pitch his tent nigh unto her, meaning what? You're going to live within her and shall lodge in and lodging where good things are. Right? You're going to rest within her. Okay. You're going to grow within her. You're going to serve within her. All the things within wisdom. He shall set his children under her shelter and shall lodge under her branches. So your whole house end up being good, man. All right. When you lock into wisdom and understand what the blood over the doorpost is going to actually represent. By her, he shall be covered from heat, which means that destruction, and in her glory shall he dwell. And that's the point, man. All right. So when you lock in with wisdom, then wisdom will protect you. Okay, and wisdom is Yahweh Shai, which is salvation, given from the order of Yahweh. Okay, given from the order of Yahweh, which is our heavenly Father, unto His Son, man, to keep us from destruction and delivering us over to life. Okay, so I don't want to was edifying. Till next time I say shalom.